Hi guys, welcome back to the Unified podcast. My name is Kate. I'm the Unified Associate Director, and I'm here with Reyna today.
Hi.
So excited about today's podcast. We're just gonna dive right in. We were just talking over the weekend, and we thought it would be an interesting and fun topic to just talk about our upbringings and kind of how it plays a role in our walk with Christ today. I was born and raised Christian, and Reyna was not, and you'll hear a little bit more about Reyna's story, but just thought that that would be a good topic because I know at Unified here we have people with so many different backgrounds. So so Reyna, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Okay, so obviously my name is Reyna. I, unlike Kate, was atheist for like my entire life and just not raised like in a Christian household at all, obviously. Like my parents actually raised me a little bit when I was younger with like kind of like a Buddhist vibe, but it wasn't very like real. Like it wasn't like they were like practicing Buddhist. Like it was kind of just like a fun like thing my dad kind of like, I don't know. Does that make sense?
It was like a hobby.
Yeah, it was not like devout at all.
Okay.
So yeah, basically like kind of like new age spirituality, but also like atheist, like just really not sure like of it at all.
Pause right there.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did you ever have questions about it, or did they just tell you like, this is what we believe, this is what is true?
So my parents actually like always would just say like, we want you to find your own truth. Like they were like really like supportive of me, like kind of just discovering my own like answer to like these questions, because my dad is like, and my mom are both super like, I would say like hippie, like they're both really hippie. Like if you saw them, like you'd be like, oh yeah. Like my mom is like super like natural, like wild, crazy hair. My dad like had a ponytail for like most of my life, like tie-dye shirts, the whole thing. And yeah, so like I would ask questions just like, because I've always been very like, I don't know, I guess like curious is the word, but also kind of like existential, like just like, what is the meaning of life? Like, why am I here? How am I here? And my dad would kind of like guide me with like what he thought, which was like more of a new age, like sort of vibe. But then also both of my parents were raised Catholic. So there was like also that kind of like understanding too, a little bit. But then they would kind of say like, we didn't find that to be true, but we'll see what you end up finding out.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were like super like encouraging of me.
That's awesome.
Being like finding my own like answers, which I loved. Like my dad like always was like, ask questions about the world. Like don't just like settle for like, you know, he's like, push it, like find out what you can. And I even remember when I was really young, like my dad actually had like 5 or 6 like huge Bibles on the top of his library. And I remember like I have this like specific memory of when I was like younger, like probably like 9, just like opening it and like reading it. And I must have been reading like Genesis, because I think I just opened to the first page. And now thinking back on that, like what God must have been like just like him watching that, like how sweet that was. But then I didn't even know what like the Bible was, because like we were like nowhere near Christianity.
Probably no concept of like what religion,
So like people probably like associated the Bible with Jesus. I was just like, I think this is just like some old book, you know, like a history book or something. Anyways, so that was like kind of that situation. And then I went to college. I went to ASU. I just graduated from ASU. I'm like, you know all this stuff. But at ASU, I started to get like a lot more curious, just because like I had more like time on my hands, I guess, in college, and like just more maturity. And so I started actually getting really into like the new age stuff that my dad talked about, but nothing like really nothing like devout with it. Like I would read these books, close it, and then like go about my day. And so I just got like really, really curious, and then I got like kind of more into like the party side at ASU, and like that was kind of like my, like in a weird way, like that was literally like my religion.
That was what you believed in.
That's like what I believed in. Like it's like really crazy. Like I had no like moral code really. I was thinking about that on the way here. Like I just didn't really have like any like
a standard.
No.
Of like, yeah.
And that's why too, like I think it's so important to be like super graceful with people that don't know Jesus, because like you literally don't know. Like I literally had no.
And that's why I was like, this would be such a good thing to talk to Reyna about, because my background, I was born into the church. Like I have gone to church every Sunday since I was literally born. And for me, that I feel like creates, like you were saying, like you've always been a curious person. You're always asking questions. Like I feel like for me, because I grew up in the church and I saw my parents have faith, I feel like I mean, I still have questions for myself, and like I still have doubts, but like I don't think there's ever been a point in my life where I'm like, you know what, like I'm so curious about this, like I'm gonna dive into this topic, which I feel like as someone who has been a Christian their whole life, like that can be a dangerous place to be. Because you almost don't have that curiosity almost. Like I feel like there are things that I wrestle with and there are questions that I have, but I always just trust that God is going to kind of just like almost bring those things to the surface and kind of like, I just work it out between me and God. But I never am like, let me dive into like some research or anything. So
it's really crazy. So like that's kind of where I was at. Like I was just like really like, it was weird. I had this one half of me that was like, I just want to like be cute and like party, and I'm like on the dance team, like my life's fine. And then this other like half of me that literally was like, I'm just gonna be so like honest, like what are you doing? Like what is the point of your life? Like because all of these things were just so surface. And at ASU, I feel like I don't really know how it is now, because I actually do believe Jesus is like really on the move at ASU. But back then, that was like the only thing that was like cool, was like being kind of like heartless and like party girl. Like that was like
it's a crazy culture to be a part of.
It's especially just now. Like I'm like, oh my gosh. But then this other half of me that was like literally like everything you're doing has like zero value. And it's like so like harsh to say, but it's true. Like I was like thriving, like whatever, completely dead inside. Like, and I was just like, I need to figure out like why I'm here. Like,
did you feel like there was something that was missing? 'Cause
I felt like everything was missing. Like there was no point to any of it. So
like would you say that you were like a genuinely happy person, but missing like I love that you said like missing everything.
So this is like
one thing.
Actually a really weird like paradox for me is I've always been extremely like joyful, like even just as a kid, like I've always been like crazy, hyper, like whatever. And in that time I was like joyful and happy, because I don't like, and I have so much like sympathy for it, but I just like don't have like any like depressive tendencies. Like I just have never like, that's the way my brain is. That's why God made my brain. But I was like unfulfilled. So like I was joyful, and people were probably like thinking that I was completely happy. And I like weirdly was happy, because that's just how I am. It's my personality. But I just knew that there was like more. And I was like kind of missing the whole point of life. I just knew it. And so like
another question that I had for you was, now that you are Christian, can you look back on your time of being atheist and like see how God was working? Like, are there times that you're like, oh my gosh, like God's hand of provision was on my life? Or
so I'm gonna be like so honest. Like I was actually thinking about this on the way here, and I was like, I just have to be honest. Do you know that song, A Forgiving God? It's like, he's been standing at the door, wait, whatever.
No.
I was like thinking.
I'll have to listen to it after this.
I'm like, let me not like try to sing it right now. I was thinking about all of the times at ASC where I seriously, sorry, I hope I can like say this.
No.
I guess it's like unified.
Be honest.
Everyone's old enough to watch it. Like the provision was that I did not die from the amount of alcohol and reckless behavior that I was like getting myself involved in. Like the provision was that I did not die. And like I had like everything I needed. And like that's enough. Like, because seriously, like I feel so like loved by God when I just think about all the times that I was like literally back turned to him, like drinking like a poisonous amount of alcohol, and he still like put breath in my lungs and like allowed me to like live. And I was like thinking about this on Thursday when Aaron was talking about the remnant, and I was like,
that was such a good message.
Oh my God, it was so good. I was literally like,
such a good message.
And so encouraging because none of my family is saved at all, not one person. Well, my great grandmother was, but she passed away. And I was like, you literally kept me, like, and it like, not that like anything's really hard for God because he's super powerful, but he kept me through all of that. Like I actually like was really badly involved in partying for like 6 years, like 6 straight years. Cause I like basically like tried to be very like pure and whatever. And then like up until I was like 15. And then I realized that like I was not cool. I was like, oh crap, like I'm not a cool girl. Like I want to be cool, you know? So then I started it and then it didn't stop until I was saved. And like how many times in those 6 years that like he kept me going, like literally kept the breath in my lungs so that he could like keep me as a remnant now to what I believe is help bring my family back to him, which is like so crazy. So
that's awesome. And it's funny because although I did grow up in a Christian home, my parents and my brother, none of them go to church now. So it's cool that that message, that remnant, like I feel like that's me within my family still, even though they all, you know, for a big chunk of my life, like we were all going to church together. It's crazy. And I just love, I was on the way here just thinking about 1 Corinthians. I'll just read it really quick. 1 Corinthians 9:22, where the Apostle Paul says, to the weak I became weak to win the weak. I have become all things to all people, so that by all possible means I might save some. I do all this for the sake of the gospel, that I may share in its blessings. And I just good. I love that, like the wide range of backgrounds and upbringings, like being all things to all people for the sake of the gospel to reach God's children. Like it's amazing. Like even just in your shorter amount of, you know.
I mean, it hasn't even been 2 years yet. In June, it'll be 2 years, which is crazy.
And it's just like to see how you love people and how you share the gospel just in like who you are is just so beautiful. And like you are able to reach people and to connect with people that I might not be able to reach because of your experiences, which I just think is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think like too, God gives us all different testimonies so that we can like witness to different people. Because I know when I was like literally so atheist, I needed a different approach to like bringing me to like God than like what someone who like maybe used to be in the church and like fell off a little bit, like they need two different people to talk to
What
them.
was the approach that worked?
Not to like hype up Aaron, but like Aaron's approach and just the way he is, because I'd never heard anything so like just truly laid out. Because I'd like heard about Jesus. He's the most like famous man on the planet. Yeah. I'd heard about him kind of. Yeah. Like honestly, like, not really. Like people had like talked to me about Jesus, but like not in.
You had heard the name, but not really like.
No, I didn't even know that like. Oh, this is so bad. I didn't even know that he like rose from the dead until the night I was saved. Like I didn't even need to know any of that.
It's just crazy to think like as a Christian, and that's like even a beautiful thing for me to hear is that like sometimes as someone who's raised in the church, you don't think about like, people have literally never heard the name Jesus. I'm like, we can like reach people and have conversations, and you never know what people are open to hearing about because they've never heard it before and they've never even tried. Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off.
No,
but continue.
No, I love that. That's so true. But so when I like came to Unified for the first time, or a little backstory, because I feel like we skipped that part, but because it's a little bit important. But I like started going to church randomly, like a Christian church, because I've been looking, like I said, I've been looking for answers at ASU, whatever. Yeah. And I started going to like this other church, and nothing against them, but they were in Revelation as a series, and I was like, nah, like I can't. But I still went. I went for like literally like 6 months in a row, and I would like go by myself, and I'd sit there.
They were in Revelation for 6 months?
No. Oh, I don't know. I don't even know what they were preaching after, because I would just go and sit there, because I'd be like, this is where I'm going Sundays, I guess. Yeah. And then I stopped going for a little bit, and then I went to Unified, June 2024. And the first time I went, I think I was low-key just so nervous the whole time that I wasn't listening. Like I was like, I don't know, this is so weird. Like it was so, I felt like my soul had been like pierced. Like I was like, everyone here, like I could just tell that like everything was like, I don't know how to like explain this, but like I feel like when you're finally around like the like Holy Spirit for the first time, like that much of it, like I almost felt like, not like kind of like naked. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm like seen. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, oh totally.
But then the second time I was like listening more, and he was talking about how God has no like capacity to tempt a person, and God has like loves you. And Aaron is just so like authentic and like grounded, and I was just like, I just like knew. Like at the beginning of the message, like I had no idea like that what was gonna happen at the end would happen, but like literally somewhere between like, I don't know what time it started, 8 p.m. and 8:45, like literally like the veil had been like lifted off my eyes. And I think it's because my heart had been so softened, and partially because of just like how Unified is so like, there's no like fluff, you know, like it's just straight up what it is. And then also because God had chose to soften my heart at that time. It just like, it was like literally like I had like contacts that blurred my vision for like 21 years, and then like God just like moved them off, and I literally was like, oh my gosh.
That is a beautiful way to describe it.
It's really crazy. It was awesome. Really crazy.
Yeah. And just as you shared that, like for any person who is similar to my background listening, like I almost felt like this is important to bring up. Like I feel like personally in my life, I have maybe not struggled, but almost wished that I had a different upbringing so that I could have had that big moment of salvation. Because I feel like, you know, in seasons of doubt or in seasons of trial, it's harder for me almost to stay true. I mean, not stay true, because I feel like my foundation is good enough to where I know that I'm always gonna be walking with the Lord. But just that moment of going from not believing to believing in that moment where you're like, okay, I can see clearly, like it's almost hard for someone like me who's been Christian for 28 years. Like I wish that I had that moment to be like, wow, like that was the moment that changed everything for me. And I, you know, I know it's true, and I used to not know. Yeah.
I think that's like what has really kept my faith so strong, and like kind of, I've had like struggles, like moments where like I backslid and all sorts, even like everyone has that, like even the strongest Christian, you know, has like struggles with it. But just always going back to that, being like, I did not know the truth, and now I know the truth. And like the truth literally set me free. Like I was literally like bound to my like sin and like my like evil desires. Like I was literally like bound to them. And now I just like, I'm not free from them yet. No, we aren't.
I mean, it's a constant battle.
But I'm like, I remember being like a slave to my flesh, and now I just am at war with it.
Yeah.
So it's like a different thing. But
yeah. And that's why it's so important for us as believers to share our testimonies too, because your testimony encourages me. And it's like, even though I don't have that moment for myself, I can hear the testimonies of people around me, and that is encouraging enough for me to be like, okay, this is going to keep me going and keep me believing and help me with, you know, my doubts. And
on the opposite side too, though, like my best friend Quinn has, you know, Quinn, I'm like, she's been a Christian her whole life and like had a really like strong faith her whole life. And she doesn't even know that. She tells me the same thing, but I'm like, your faith inspires me to keep going so that one day I can raise a daughter who knows Jesus her whole life. So like, it's like a, you know, like your faith inspires me the same way, like the way you are raising your children and stuff, like that's equally as impactful and kind of like what makes up the body of Christ. Like maybe being an atheist turned into believers like a leg, and then being a believer your whole life is an arm. We're
all the body.
So I think it's so important.
That's so good.
But
so good. Well, I feel like that's a good place for us to wrap up the conversation. Like, I mean, we could talk, me and Reyna could talk
all day.
Literally all day, but but that was a sweet little podcast, and I'm sure we'll have you back on the podcast soon. But
I love it.
Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you guys next week.